So in this lesson, we're going to learn about monohybrid inheritance. You need to understand the terms genotype and phenotype, homozygote, heterozygote, dominant, recessive, codominant, and multiple alleles. You need to be able to construct genetic crosses and pedigree diagrams, and you need to be able to explain sex linkage on the X chromosome, including the example of haemophilia in humans. So, you've already studied the structure and function of DNA. Now this is what we call molecular genetics. But in this section, you're going to be studying the transmission of DNA between whole organisms, which is known as Mendelian genetics, after Gregor Mendel, who was the monk turned scientist that pioneered this entire area of biology. Now inheritance is all about how characteristics like eye color and things like that get passed on from one generation to the next. They get passed down in your genes from your parents. Now some characteristics are controlled by a single gene, which we call monogenic, but most are controlled by lots of genes, which is what we call polygenic, and how those genes interact. As mentioned already in this course, your typical cells in humans have 46 chromosomes in the nucleus, but they can be arranged in 23 pairs, one inherited from your mother and one from your father. Therefore, you actually have two versions of every single gene. One version inherited from your mother and one inherited from your father. And we call these versions of genes alleles. So the gene may code for hair color, for example, but you could have different alleles of that gene from your parents. You could have inherited the blonde allele from your mother, for example, and the brown from your father. The genes are located in the same position on the two chromosomes. You just may have different alleles, or you could have inherited the same alleles. Alleles can be dominant or recessive. So for example, the allele for brown hair could be dominant over the allele for blonde hair. In that case, you'd call the brown one dominant and the blonde one recessive. So if we use me as an example, I inherited brown from my father, let's say, and blonde from my mother, but as I had the brown one, that was dominant, so I ended up with brown hair, but I'm still carrying my blonde-haired allele, which I could pass on to my children. Now, in order to understand and explain genetics, you need to be able to use various key words and terminology. So we're going to look at phenotype, genotype, homozygous, heterozygous, codominant, and multiple alleles. First of all, let's start with phenotype. Now, your phenotype is the actual characteristic expressed by the person's gene. So in the example I was just talking about there, hair color, my phenotype for hair color is brown. My phenotype for eye color is sort of greenish, okay? And my phenotype for nose is big. Genotype. Now the genotype is the combination of alleles that codes for that particular phenotype, okay? So let's say again we go to this hair color example. I inherited brown and a blonde one, okay? The brown is dominant, so we tend to give that a capital letter. So we say that the gene for brown, the allele for brown is capital B, and the allele therefore for blonde should be a lowercase b. We always use the same letters as a pair, which we use an uppercase for the dominant and the lowercase for the recessive. So my genotype would be big B, little b, okay, which means I've got a big B for brown, a little b for blonde, but the big B shows that the brown is dominant. Now, if someone has two of the same alleles to make their genotype, we say they are homozygous. Okay, so you could be homozygous dominant, big B, or homozygous recessive, little b. If you have one of each allele, like me in that example, big B, little b, then you'd say that is heterozygous. Now, some characteristics are caused by what we call codominant alleles. Neither allele is recessive, so you end up showing a combination of each in your phenotype. For example, these snapdragon flowers have inherited one of each allele, dark pink and white, but the phenotype is a combination of both of them because those alleles are what we call codominant. Sometimes there's more than two alleles, so you might have three alleles, for example. This is what we call multiple alleles, and the best example of that is blood type in humans, where there are three alleles, A, B, and O. And we'll look at blood type later on as in more of an example. So if you look at this pair of homologous chromosomes here, this could be any pair. Let's call it chromosome pair number 7. Okay, and in this case, there's a pair of genes here where they're homozygous recessive for that particular trait, little t. The locus is the position of the gene on the chromosome. So at the top, we've got another pair of alleles there. They're heterozygous for that particular trait. And at the bottom, That's an example of a codominant gene down there. Now, most traits in living organisms are polygenic, controlled by several interacting genes. However, to keep things simple, we're going to start off by looking at characteristics controlled by one gene only. And when we look at how this gene is inherited, it is called a monogenic cross. So here is an example. The allele for brown is dominant over blue. A man is heterozygous for brown eyes, and he mates with a woman who is heterozygous for brown eyes. What percentage of their children will have blue eyes? Now, you should always set out your genetic crosses like this, with the phenotypes at the top for the mother and the father, the parents' genotypes then below that. They're both heterozygous, so big B, little b. Then we show the gametes. Now, the gametes should be in circles to show how they are now in cells. Okay, so the father can only pass on either a big B or a little b in his sperm. Okay, one of either type. And it's the same for the mother. So we show all the possible gametes there, and then we put them into this thing called a Punnett square, but like a noughts and crosses grid, and then we match up the gametes to show what the possible offspring are from those combinations. And we can see that the F1, as we call it, the first generation, genotypes are 1 of big B, 2 of big B, and 1 of little b, and therefore 3/4 of them would be brown and 1/4 of them would be blue, or 25% would be blue, to answer the question. Now, that's just a probability. It's not necessarily going to happen like that every time, but that is the probability of what could happen when you cross those particular parents for that trait. Now, examples that you may get in questions include genetic diseases such as cystic fibrosis and Huntington's disease. Cystic fibrosis is a recessive condition, but Huntington's is a dominant allele, so it's inherited slightly differently. You should know that the first level of the offspring from the parents is called the F1 generation, and then the next one after that is the F2 generation. This example here shows true breeding, or homozygous, it's another name for homozygous, pea plants that produce either yellow or green seeds, which are then bred together. So we've got pure breeding yellow, big Y, and pure breeding green, little y, breed them together. In the F1 generation, you'll see they are all heterozygous, and therefore their phenotype will be yellow. But if you interbreed those with each other, you can see that in the F2 generation, the green comes out again as a phenotype. Where alleles show dominance, it is not always possible to tell the genotype of an organism. For example, the yellow pea seed could have either a big Y or big Y little y as its genotype. We don't know that, but we can do what's called a test cross. This is where you take the yellow pea seed and you breed it with a known individual, which is the homozygous recessive. We know that if it's green, it must have little y. Then you look at the offspring that are given, and you can then tell what the parent must have been in terms of the yellow pea seed. If you get any green at all in the offspring, it must be carrying the green one, so it must have been big Y, little y. You also need to be familiar with pedigree diagrams. Now, these show a family history of a genetic condition. You should know how to construct or interpret one. Here's one here, and for example, you should be able to work out what individuals 1 and 2 have as their genotypes and what 3 has. So for example, 1, we can see it's an affected male because it's square and it's colored blue. Okay, if it's affected, it must have doubly recessive alleles, must be homozygous recessive, because you're told in the question that it is a recessive genetic disorder, alkaptonuria. Individual 3 is a nice example because it's an unaffected male, but they've obviously had an affected child. Now, they can only pass on little a if they have a little a themselves, therefore they must be heterozygous, big A, little a. As already mentioned, they can be codominant in terms of alleles, and here's an example here with the snapdragons, and this is how you set it out in your answer if it's a codominant example. The only difference really is that you change that notation, so you use a big C for the colour in this case, and then we use capital R as a superscript and capital W as a superscript to show that they're both dominant. Okay, we can't use the notation we used before because it doesn't allow for codominance, because you can only have one capital letter and one small letter, but in this case we can use 2 different capital letters as superscript. I've already briefly explained the idea of multiple alleles, and that human blood typing is an example of that, where you've got 3 alleles. Now again, because we can't use just one letter and then a capital and a lowercase for this, we are going to use superscript. We're going to use I and then A, B and O. A capital A and a capital B because actually they are codominant, and then a small lowercase o because that is actually recessive. So in this case, with multiple alleles and blood typing, actually you've got an example of codominance and multiple alleles. So if I look at the genotypes of the particular blood groups, group A, you could be IA or IAIO because the O is recessive. Group B, IBIB or IBIO. Group AB, because it's codominant, they must have one of each of those dominant alleles, IA and IB, or you could be a group O if you inherit both the recessive O's. And in this way, it's quite interesting because if you've got heterozygous parents for blood type A and blood type B, they can actually have any type of blood types in their children because they've got all the different possible allele combinations in their gametes. The last example we're going to look at is sex linkage. Okay, up until now we've only considered the inheritance of genes on non-sex chromosomes, okay, on the first 22 pairs as shown in this diagram, which we call autosomes. But there are also this 23rd pair, the sex chromosomes, and if you're a girl you get two X's, but if you're a boy you get an X and a Y, and as you can see in this diagram, the Y is much smaller. These chromosomes are not homologous. Okay, so if there is a gene on the X, it may not be present on the Y, and that changes the way that things are inherited a little bit. Okay, certain X-linked genetic disorders such as red-green color blindness and haemophilia are therefore going to become much more common in males, as they are only going to need to get one of those recessive alleles to have it expressed, but the female would need both her X chromosomes to have it in order to express it. As you can see here in this diagram, a healthy father and a healthy mother, albeit a carrier, can have children, and because the boy only gets his X chromosome from his mother, there is a 50-50 chance he will inherit the X chromosome with the recessive allele on it. None of their female spread could ever get the disease because they will always inherit their father's normal dominant X chromosome. And as you can see here, and this is how you should lay it out, same way as we've laid out our other genetic diagrams, but now we're going to use X's and Y's because the alleles are on those chromosomes. It's much easier to see what's going on. So the females you see is XH, XH, capital H's, healthy female. In this case, we've got an affected male with haemophilia, and you can see that actually what you're going to have is, in that case, none of their children will actually have haemophilia. They'll have 50% will be carrier females and 50% will be healthy males. So it's quite interesting how sex linkage affects the inheritance of certain conditions.